Hello, happy Monday. Happy Monday, Facebook family. I am waiting on Rachel to start a biofeedback for pets. This is so exciting. I have been working with biofeedback and with Rachel for the last 5 years during my healing journey, and this is quite groundbreaking that we can do this for our pets too. So there she is. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. So excited for this. I don't know what to expect.
Neither do I. I mean, I mentioned about pets last time and we kind of took and went with it, which ironically, this week I've worked on, actually, was it last night? I worked on two horses and I've worked on a golden doodle this past week. So, what is interesting about pets, sorry about that. What,
Technology.
yeah, what's interesting about pets is we get to know their behavior, and we know what they like and they don't like, but there's so much more going on that we don't know. And the great thing with biofeedback is you can look at their aura, so you can kind of gauge what might be going on, and then you can look at their emotions. And I classify babies and pets as just a ball of emotions, trying to sense everything out and figure everything out. And pets can get a little more sophisticated because they have to learn quickly. They don't live as long. But what I find, so for instance, the golden doodle I worked on, she actually had a stroke. So it's an older golden doodle, and it was having a hard time eating and walking. And I worked on her, and the owner was like, Rachel, she's up and about and she's moving, and it's just it's amazing. And so 4 weeks went by, and especially as with adults, so with pets, you can expect great things with one session, but you might need another one. So she needed another session. And actually, there was a therapeutic the owner was using, and it was a little too much. They were using CBD oil, and it came up on my scan. And I make little notes, and I just said, Are you using CBD oil? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, you might need to cut back. And the next day, the dog, after doing the session, the next day, the dog was up and about and chasing squirrels and, up to its old self. And what's really great is, okay, so this is the horse, but I can give you a look. With the dog I was doing, a lot of the organs were not so good. They all needed to be balanced. Let's put it that way. But so you can list and chart organs. This is the horse. So this horse is doing pretty good. We just have two that need to be balanced on top, and then one on the bottom. But the dog that I was working on, it was all blue, which means kind of stagnant. There wasn't a lot of energy flow, probably not enough oxygen, not enough blood going through and all that. So it's just very telling to see what comes up. And you probably hear my dog over here, but the other cool thing that I've done is I created, because the biofeedback works with what we like to call bringing you back into alignment or balance. And that's also what some people might call their super consciousness. And I can create a panel for dogs, which I thought was pretty cool. So just as we can program affirmations for humans, I have what's on a dog's mind, which is kind of pretty cool. Because sometimes you just don't know like what's all going on. So like one thing is I can't hear well, so I can chart, the hearing, or I want to be cuddled, or stomach upset due to food, mammary glands swollen. They want to be told I am lovely. Sometimes dogs need to hear, they get that communication because they can understand communication. I have pain when I urinate. I have an ear infection. I want to play ball. I'm in pain. My stomach hurts. I don't like my food. I have pain when I eat. So it's just really cool because you notice something's wrong, but this can help you pinpoint with some things. I miss you when you're gone. I love meeting new people. Anxiety. or my paws are sore. Oh, and I like the pain in the ovaries because a lot of times female dogs have a lot of hormone issues, and we don't realize what's going on. So I don't know. That's really cool. And a lot of dogs, as they're getting older, they might actually have some hearing issues, and it gets interpreted as like sensory overload, or they might like bark because their one sensory is over operating, and they become more protective because by the time they hear the noise, it's right there instead of being able to hear it, because their hearing is really good when they're in their prime. So it's just kind of neat things to see. But one thing is, animals do pick up their owner's emotions, and a lot of time
Oh,
when I work on animals, we will see what's coming up on the owner, that's coming up on the animal.
of
So
course. Yeah.
yeah, because they in many cultures, animals are known as healing. They just and they're more grounded. They need to be grounded. They need to go for walks because it just helps them too. But so for instance, this horse, I can show you
So
their,
I'm curious, how do you do the scanning with the animals?
yes. So thank you. So how that's done, you got, thank you. Um, they send me their name, their birth date, and a picture. Now, if they can get a noise of the animal talking, that's great too, or making a noise. He's looking.
Yeah, she's going, she gave you a little noise as soon as you said that. That's funny. Sh-
Let me see, because I still have to finish up notes on these equestrians. And let me get some notes. I'm working on somebody with their shoulder right now. And they wanted me to chart their skin to see, they're trying to reverse DNA skin damage. So on one of my skin panels, I can chart the DNA skin damage, and we can see how, if what she's using is actually working. Um, DNA, and it's almost there. Let's do UV. How do I
Yeah,
just
so like
decide?
Lana over here, she's got some ingrown things that have grown in her over the last few years, and part of her skin has just kind of mutated into just a strange mutation in some parts of her body. And the doctors kind of just say that it's she's fine. The
Huh?
vets. Now it doesn't look fine to me, and she scratches it a lot. It didn't look like it used to look when she was younger because I've had her since she was about 2 years old. I inherited her. Um, I adopted her when she was about two, and I know that she had a lot of trauma prior to that, and but none of these things were in her body before. And
Okay. And,
they've kind of now she also eats the Purium food on top of her food, and she's been doing that for a little bit over a year. So
oh
um,
wow.
she does she does look good. She's about 10 years old now, from what I know.
Um,
And
what is? Remind me the dog's name.
Lana,
Uh, Spell that.
Lana.
That's what I thought. Okay. And then date of birth.
Well, we guesstimated.
I think you're frozen. Oh, okay. Wait. Your mic's off now.
Okay, we
Date of
guesstimated
birth.
March 9th.
Okay.
March 9th. And she's 10 years old, so 2020,
That'd be 2015, right?
2015.
Okay. And female. All
Yeah.
right. So we can try. So are you kind of saying she has tumors? You said growths?
Yeah, she's got some growths in her body, and then she's got some. It, to me, it looks like something in her body internally is pushing on her ovaries outward.
Okay. So sometimes dogs, they need to detox, and sometimes they're not detoxing properly, and that grows like some tumors. And some dogs are just genetic to that, and it's whether or not they're fatty. It's a fatty tumor. Now, if it is a overgrowth of cells, there's enzymes that can help dissolve cysts and overgrowths like that. So what they call those therapeutic enzymes like nannokinase and serapeptase. And then like for dissolving fats, that's going to be interesting. Um, Things for the liver would be choline, phosphatidylcholine. But when it comes to like fat outside, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research on that. Can you try to get her to bark again or
Can
do
you talk,
something?
Ellen? Let's see. Can you talk? Can you say something? Say something. Say something.
That's okay. It's okay. So that's why we can. This is what we're taught. So if yes, I just want her. Perfect.
Can you say something? Say something. You're always talking. She talks a lot.
Well, how is her temperament and her mood?
So she's wonderful with humans, but with other animals, she loses it. She wants to bark. She wants to, go after them. Um, she and she won't even listen
Mm.
when she sees another animal.
So when I first get her up here, the first thing that comes up is as a priority is energetic infections. And when I click on that and go deeper, whoa, whoa, whoa. When I click on that and go deeper, we have parasites, Lyme, and mold. Okay. And the blue is either chronic or long term or making the body a little more stagnant. And the red is, what's happening now. And I think I've explained to you before, parasites go in cycles, 3 month cycles. And so this could be signifying that babies are born or we're going through another cycle of the parasites. And if you start a parasite cleanse, you might see it go in blue because it's getting so just explaining how they go in cycles. Spinal energy seems to be off a little bit, which her spine, I want to look at today's stresses. Some fungus, inflammation, adrenals, blood sugar, a little bit acidic, virus, and kidneys are coming up. So kidneys are related to the detox pathway as well. Those could be a little boosted. Emotions, she has a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
There's some awe, some misery, disgust, shame, happiness, confusion, frustration, grief, annoyance, a little bit of sadness, worry, just a little bit of pride, and some jealousy. Well, depression and anxiety are not there, and I'm working on one pup with that, so that's good. She doesn't have that. But I always pretty much run emotions on dogs and the emotion code because emotions are connected to certain organs.
So something that comes up as you're saying that, it's all of those emotions sound like very lower level root chakra emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
So you want to take a
and
look at that?
sure, sure. So lower
Well,
level root chakra emotions, and if there are parasites and there's things going on blocking her liver and her adrenals, that's, that she's not able to have a real blood flow into her sacral and her solar. So there's,
Well, and it's really sacral. Root chakra looks good. Sacral, the throat and the brow seem to
wow.
be clogged right now. So let's look at her aura real quick, just for fun.
Wow, this is so awesome, Rachel. I mean, you can't get this information anywhere.
No. And then on top of that, I do have specific canine panels. So we can look at, as much as it did say some stuff here, we'll quickly look at her aura and then I'll jump into that real quick. And then, we have this for her. So the center is a little gray, but yet brown. So it could mean she might be needing some grounding through some emotional transitions. We see that purple, a lot of the purple, so that could be indicated as the brain or endocrine system. We see pink, which could represent love giving needs to be worked on, or possibly the kidneys. And I know that sounds weird, that it's like, the physiological, the kidneys and that, but I think we mentioned last time that love is like a toroid. It gives and receives, it goes in and out. And um, green is the color of love receiving, and pink is as of giving. So possibly need to work on that. And we also see that the green can represent a little bit of the heart and immunity, seems to be a little bit low. And then surrounded again by that, if this is like bluish purple, which we saw the throat chakra, heading into the upper, the crown, the brain as well.
What's really
So,
interesting for the last, I would say, week, she's had daily morning walks on the beach for at least an hour.
oh, wow.
And we go for walks 3 to 5 times a day outside. And she goes for long walks. So this is, and she requests it. Like she comes, she's like, I'm ready to go again. I'm ready to go again. Um, so she's definitely detoxing because she's peeing a lot and she's drinking a lot of water, but there's a lot to release. There's a lot to release.
That is a good observation. So remember I said spine? Um, Coming up, canine lower back soreness is coming up. Canine infections, tapeworms, worms, a little bit of influenza, so that's the lungs. Pancreatitis, so the blood sugar. A lot of worms and a lot in Lyme, which was similar to what we saw Lyme disease. This isn't indicating mold here in the canine, but I can quickly look there. The gallbladder, the canine gallbladder meridian needs to be worked on. So some exposures, as antibiotics are coming up, and again, it could be anytime. Microchip sensitivity
Mm,
is coming up. So one thing I like to tell people is with animals, make sure that their dog dish is not near outlets. Because when they're eating, they might be by an outlet, and make sure the dog bed is not by an outlet as well. Because it might like fit and look nice, but they're sleeping, near that, and not near anything electrical that might be plugged in. Like I have an air purifier right here, and that's probably one reason why my husband took the dog out, so he's not by there. So just little tweaks like that. And because you're thinking of the sensitivity of the microchip and electrical, I just went brain dead. That's, the electrical components can exacerbate that. A lack of minerals and a lack of choline, like I mentioned earlier, help emulsifying fat. Minerals and choline help the cells stay healthy, and when we have healthy cells, we can be okay. We're not as bombarded, I should say, with electrical sensitivities, electromagnetic, and 5G radiation. So that's something to kind of take a look at.
Yeah, so interesting. So many things that, we don't even think about.
No,
Um,
and and then I do have I mean she's good on nourishing foods. I have a list of nourishing foods, like brown rice would be good, garlic, Brussels sprouts, mango, broccoli. Digestive enzymes would be helpful, and some probiotics if you were interested. And then in the canine world of vets that are kind of holistic, they like to use Verte line of, supplements or standard process. So I have a list of, standard process, canine whole body support, VF, biodent, and canine flex support. So we at 10 years old, so maybe you might want to look at some fish oil um, to kind of help with the joints and the heart. Some digestion. There's some food allergies that look like they're coming up. Dysbiosis, possible a bacterial gut infection. So everything stems from the gut, our health and immune system, and that is
yes.
our I do energy. So it's like you can't really function much in the world when your stomach is, not up to par. It affects your vagus nerve and affects your brain and all that stuff going
What's
on.
your take on that behavior towards other dogs?
Oh,
That aggressiveness, because that's something that she's been trying to work through, but
well,
I
real
mean,
quick, I just wanted to look at cyst and tumor, and blood purify is very correlated to helping a liver detox, lymph drain, and it's coming up with sugar affecting, which is hard to believe. Dogs get sugar, but it's just part of probably the pancreas that we saw before. Um, and then a lymph drain, and some people might even use, like I do with my dog. I have a drainage tincture. It's a human, and I'll give it to him, just a few drops in his water bowl, or quickly in his mouth. Maybe not the whole human load, but just a little bit. Okay, so just wanted
and
to
you're
address
able
that.
to create tinctures just the same with all of these deficiencies for animals too, for dogs.
I do I don't like to use the word infections, but um I got to think of another word, but I usually, for animals, I create two tinctures, one for the infections and one for repair. So in other words, like the golden doodle I was working with, had some infections, some mold, Lyme, bacteria, and then she also needed a lot of repair for her kidneys and heart and brain, and I added some peptides in there. So it was and why two different ones? Because you might, some people just have different reactions. I created an ivermectin tincture for somebody, and they were running to the bathroom fast and furious when they were using it. And I saw them a week later, and all their inflammation was down, and I was like, that's amazing. They needed that. That's what was coming up for them. So that's why I create two, because dogs can't talk and tell you if something's upsetting them or bothering them, but you can do the infection one, and maybe they'll need to run to the bathroom. You might find something a little different, but the repair is a little more benign. It's more, considered like a healing, and I'd like to give them, even if it's just a half an hour difference, during the day, um, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. Some people have even, put drops on their finger and let the dog take it off the finger. Some people put it in the dog's water bowl. Some even rub it on their dog, if they're short, not as furry. But yes, so, but going back, if I remember, jealousy was coming up for
Hmm.
certain emotions for her. So to
Yeah, and it's so hard for, I mean, I don't even know how they would work through this because it's hard for humans
Mhm.
to work on balancing their emotions, to work on balancing their energies. And me as a practitioner for this, I mean, this is what I do. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of intentional work. So how does animal, how does a horse, how does a dog, how does a cat work through this? And this is part of what my awareness is telling me, because we say that dogs don't last very long or
Yeah.
cats don't last very long. But I mean, this is something that if humans don't get under control, they don't last very long either.
And I'm listening to you. I'm just focusing, trying to plug some stuff in here. Um, Mostly, I find you are right with that, and it is very because the one dog I'm working on with the depression and anxiety seemed to come from a background of abuse. So I work on the brain and emotion trauma, but I know that, you know what I mean? So what does one as a human, regularly do? It's hard. Like, I that's a good question. My only thing is, like, this is such a cool tool for that. The other thing would be, I mean, the idea love conquers all. You got to show your animal love. But I mean, and we do, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But, and so, so for instance, the woman that has this pup that's, traumatized, it's a lot of work, and she's been through a lot of other healers. And right now, biofeedback is working. I have to work on the pup. I do mini sessions, so I work on it maybe twice or three times a week, much better than before. And, if we focus on the brain, I try to find solutions to help the brain. Because I even have since we're talking about this, I even have a forgiveness panel. And we might think, and forgiveness on Elena is balanced. But forgiveness relates with a lot. We can even boil it down. Probably a lot of our chakras, well, within those systems are hardcore parts, like our hippocampus, our insula, our prefrontal cortex, anger being held in the liver. So when we're trying to work on forgiveness, we can think of it as all metaphysical and, I forgive, but there are hardcore body parts that are connected to that. And the emotion code comes into that. So I plugged stuff in for the emotion code for her. Now, what's on a dog's mind? I did not read. I don't think I read what was on hers, but hormones causing emotional imbalance. Would you have thought of that?
Uh, I mean, it's
Well,
completely related,
you
but
hit with ovaries. You were thinking ovaries. Mammary gland swollen. I don't know. Maybe that's um, something that you were feeling. I want a haircut. That came up. I'm just telling you.
really,
Um,
she's got short hair.
I know that it's just, I'm just telling. Um, I have an ear infection, so that's coming up. Now
Mm,
anxiety is coming up. I love meeting new people.
she
Um,
does.
yeah, I love to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Stomach hurts due to hormones. So now that I know that pain in the ovaries, pain in uterus, so now that we're seeing a lot of this, now I'm going to add some of the hormones in there, and let's just see what happens. A lot of times our dogs are fixed. We have a male dog and he was fixed. And, we because he was, from a breeder, and we don't have, sometimes we don't have control over that. We might have received the dog from, saving it from a pound or somewhere, or, but I do know some people that haven't gotten their animals fixed, and they're dealing with a whole other set of issues. So no judgment on that, but there are issues if you get your animal fixed too soon. There are
Mm.
hormone issues with that, and I work. I see that, but yeah. So I just think it's amazing to be able to figure things out, and it just gives you tools to be able to see. It looks like menopause might be coming up on her. Poor thing.
Well, if all of those hormones are so imbalanced and there's so much blockages going on, that can cause that. Because one of the awarenesses and one of the theories that I have, even for adult women, is our body stops creating hormones if the body can't regulate the hormones that are within the body. So if we have blockages that we're not excreting the hormones or we're not balancing the hormones, the brain just stops producing them.
Yeah, that's yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, on my panel for women for fertility, it is or hormones, it's male partner infertile. So it's almost like if your male partner's infertile, what's the point of you? It affects you. It's a it's almost thinking of pheromones. Because we operate on pheromones, and I don't know if you had this done, but women working in an office, they all get in sync.
Oh, I mean, when I had my son, I was working in the ICU step down, and we were five in the unit,
Mhm.
four of us. One of them was a boy too. So his wife and three of the girls, we all got pregnant back to back each month from October to December. We all got pregnant.
Oh
So
wow.
yes, yes, I have not just heard that, I have lived it.
You've experienced it, yeah. So it's just fascinating, and animals are probably in a similar, like she doesn't have a male dog to associate with and social and engage, so it's like, okay,
Well,
just
actually,
oh maybe okay.
um, Logan, my other dog,
Okay,
but he's fixed.
okay, yeah,
And yeah, so he's older and he also has a whole set of issues that we need to talk about for sure. Um, because the traditional medicine, I have hasn't really, we do the same thing every year and the same, he's still having the same issues. And, that's literally the definition of craziness, like of
yeah,
insanity. So yeah, he's not going to mate with her for sure.
yeah.
But she goes after animals all the time. So I don't know if she's trying to find
Oh,
the right. But she can't have, she can't mate either. She's also fixed.
yeah. Well, I mean, her adrenal system does need a little bit of help, and then what I was gonna look at I have relationship panels. I'm gonna throw that in there too, because a lot of that deals with the brain as well, believe it or not. And there's seems to be some PTSD with her
Mm,
as well.
I believe it.
I
I
can
believe
go.
it.
Let me just quickly take a look at that.
I mean, this is very much like what happens with humans when we don't deal
Yeah.
with things.
Oh
It
yeah.
just stays in our body. It just stays in our body.
Yeah. So PTSD, we're going to work on that. Yeah. But if no one else had the sensitivity that you had as an owner, I don't know what they get frustrated with their animal. Um,
Well, you also start to think, oh, they're getting old. They're going to die. It's like a normal thing, but it's not a normal thing because they're dying because there's things going on, issues going on that are not being fixed.
right. Well, I think you were spot on, and I think that it was really neat to do a scan and to see the information that came up, because it gives you more information, but also confirmation and what you were already thinking what was going on with her.
Well, I mean, even just an assessment of just looking at what's happening, there's clearly something that's not
Yeah.
balanced.
Oh, I like this. This is another thing I'm working on with people who are interested. But MTHFR is coming up on her. So what is that? That is that. Actually, it's coming back on vitamin B, like how your body processes things. And vitamin B's is a big one. Your folates, your B12s, and I throw choline in there because choline does, like I mentioned, a fat emulsifier and helping. It also helps the brain. So I can let me just plug this in and let's see what our choline level is. But what I'm getting at is if I were to run like the dog that I'm working on consistently, I will run the anxiety, brain, and then I'm now adding DNA and methylation. So like, but hers methylation is coming up on her. Now, what does that mean? I'm not a vet. I cannot just flat out tell you to give her vitamin Bs. Um,
Her vet
Choline,
says that she's fine, so please
yeah,
do share what you're
choline.
what you see.
That was so sensitive. But choline is number one coming up, and then we do have folate, which I mentioned as a low one. Ah, sorry, as a low one down there. So for a client, what I do is I make a tincture, and that is where I can say this has what your pet needs, and then we scan back later. I mean, when I worked on that golden doodle, all I mean, the organs were all blue. I checked on it the next day and they were all balanced. There were only two that were red, and they were probably going to be, coming back into balance. So a session, well, just a session does some amazing things.
Yeah.
But that is one thing that I can recommend. The other thing is, um, do research and see what they recommend for pets with methylation issues, which is probably what I should do for my anxiety case dog. Um, which, carnivore diet has a lot of vitamin Bs in there, I believe,
Mm.
but I
Yeah,
could be
that's
wrong.
definitely a
So
night shift for dogs.
what are you giving Purim?
Purium has
They have a dog line?
they have think something that helps with their bone and their immune system.
Okay.
And just like the powder, like the green shake, it's also a powder. And you put it on top of their food. So
Okay.
it doesn't matter what food you're giving them, they can get all of this nutrition,
But
the
that's great because
greens, the
bones are
vegetables.
the source of health too, healthy bone marrow. And that'll be interesting. But yeah, take a look at the ingredients and see if, folate and choline are in there somehow. And then later on, we can look and see what products. Now, you're in Palm Beach County,
Hmm.
out on 441 and Lake Worth Road. There's a pet store called Jake's, and they are amazing. They're an independent pet store. They are they're amazing. So if you have an afternoon, you're in that area and you want to just step in and you can talk to people and they're informative, and it blows my mind. I
Cool.
can't believe it. I can't believe they survived COVID. I mean that was and they're still open.
That's
So
amazing. I mean, this is really, really awesome as usual, Rachel. Thank you
oh,
so
you're
much.
welcome. You're
And
welcome.
yeah, because our pets are part of the energy of the home, and they pick up on a lot of the things, even when we're doing our work and we're releasing the energy, they're also picking up. But also, she meets people in the streets and everybody wants to pet the dogs.
Yeah.
So that energetic transfer, that's something that's coming up for me right now. It's gonna have to be cut off because I don't know who's touching her, and I don't
True.
know what
Or
kind of energy.
and self-talk came up. So you can always, with animals, because like I also worked with young kids for a while. Like you can self-talk things through. Like they just want to say hi. It's okay. They can say hi, and we're just gonna say hi. Like, you create a boundary when you're introducing them to something else. I mean,
I almost feel like it's going to hurt her because she loves the
oh,
petting. But I'm just gonna have to be the one to give her
yeah,
more petting, and people in
yeah.
the household give her more petting, and yeah, just continue the walks and all the things. But there's definitely a lot of things that need to be shifted, and it's good to be aware of this. Even as you were saying the things that she's thinking, I felt an energy as you were saying those words. I felt an
Mhm.
energy that was coming from her talking, like sharing these things with me. Um, and it was beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, I was glad to share some information. It's always fascinating, and every scan is a story. It's something new. So,
This is absolutely fascinating, and it's so good that we're living in this time and this age and this there's technology that's so good because everything as always can be used for bad or it could be used for really, really something
No,
great.
you're
So,
you were mentioning about your other dog, and what came up is infertile male partner, the second one. So I mean, we can't make this up.
mm-mm.
Like I just but a little bit of an ovarian cyst is coming up. And so, what would help with that when it comes to stuff like that is those therapeutic enzymes, serapeptase and nanokinase. If you're interested, I can text you a
Yeah,
link to a
send me that
brand.
information for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, my dear. Well, always
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
You're
So,
welcome.
for everybody watching this out there, the dog could be balanced. The dog could be energetically balanced. And there's things that you can see and energetically, even though they can't speak. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. And
Oh, you're
Rachel,
welcome.
yeah, you can get in contact with Rachel. You can get in contact with me and I'll get you in contact with Rachel. You can reach Rachel directly to get these things done. And this is 1000% part of the lunar cycle program because health begins at home and it's everybody. Everybody's energy gets to be balanced. Everybody's energy needs to co-create with each other or it, creates energetic problems that affect us physiologically
Yeah.
and emotionally. So we'll be seeing a lot more of Rachel in the Lunar Cycle program coming
Oh,
up. And thank you, Rachel. Have a lovely
oh,
day.
you're welcome. You too. Always good,
Yeah.
Dana. All right. Bye. Bye.
Bye.